Head coach Brian Dutcher, Sdsu Aztecs. How's it going, sir?
Good morning, gentlemen. Everything's great.
All right, here's the debate Judson and I are having because Judd thinks 90s college basketball was the era. I agree because I grew up in that time, but I would argue that kids would say that now is the era, or folks who grew up a generation before us would say, no, the 80s, the 70s, those were the eras of really good college basketball. So what say you, Coach?
I'd say the 90s, early 80s, 90s, when the players stayed till their senior years. That way you had guys like we had at Michigan. We won in 1989. Glenn Rice, the senior. We had Ramil Robinson, Terry Mills, Loy Vaught, all NBA players as juniors. And you got kids that played mature games back then.
Dutch, you think we're heading down that? Could we go back down that path again potentially? Not that one and dones is necessarily that there are so many hundreds of kids that are at that ability level. But do you think if college basketball makes the changes, we could potentially see more teams stick together with players that we know for longer to keep up with teams?
Yeah, I think so. If NBA goes back to letting the kids come out of high school, then the kids at college, I think, will have a chance to stay a little longer.
Coach, what do you mean by they played more mature games then?
Well, I had the Fab Five too, so we were good, we were talented, had a chance to win a national championship, but the one we won was 1989 when we had kids that stayed till their senior years of college. So anybody that stays 4 years of college obviously is going to have a chance to be more mature, play more as a team probably in some degrees because you've had them for 4 years.
All right, Coach, you guys finished the season tied with UNLV, fourth place in the Mountain West. It's you versus UNLV in the tournament, 2:30 on Tuesday or Thursday. That game can be heard right here at Extra 1360. We talked last Tuesday before you got to Fresno State game about how important it was to finish the season off on the right note. It didn't exactly finish, I guess, how you envisioned it. How do you spin that off into being really productive in the tournament?
I tried to spin Fresno to the guys that we played good basketball. We didn't play a good last minute of basketball. And then we knew what Nevada would be. They're 27-3. They had not lost a home game, so we knew what kind of a hornet's nest that would be. And we played a decent first half, but let it slip away with 8 minutes to go. I think it was a 13-point game with 8 minutes to go, and then they put a run on us and kind of buried us. But I just told them we have to play the right way for 40 minutes. No matter how the game's going, if we play the right way, that will give us a chance in Vegas on Thursday. And I thought the kids hung together. They shared the ball. They didn't segment, and they played the right way. And so I'm encouraged about our team moving into the tournament in Vegas on Thursday.
Dutch, we'll get to the matchup against UNLV, who you have beaten twice this season already. Jalen McDaniels, he had a rough finish to the game against Fresno State, and then he just had a bad game, a really bad game against Nevada in that loss. Any concern about Jalen McDaniels' confidence with how important he is to you down the stretch, or is he a player who forgets pretty quickly about the previous game?
I told him, Jalen, for us to have a chance, Jalen, I know you have to play better. You know you have to play better. And you will. A lot of the shots he had against Nevada were the ones I wanted him to take, the 15-foot facing jump shot, some of them on the catch, some of them on a dribble. And I just think, when he missed a couple, the rest didn't go in. So we all know that he has to continue to take those shots, but he has to make some if we're going to advance in this tournament. So I'm trying to keep his confidence high and have him about the right things moving into this game.
Brian Dutcher on Extra 1360. Speaking of confidence, you guys are the defending Mountain West Conference tournament champions from last year. Does it carry over at all to this year?
I wish it. If it did, I'd take it with me in my pocket. We got to be confident. The only way you win it is if you're confident. You can't go in there thinking, "Oh, we're going to have a tough time." You have to believe in your heart you're going to win it. And so I have to instill that in the team. And we have to play in our best to do it. There's a lot of good teams in this conference. I think two of them are already going to make the NCAA tournament. I think Utah State and Nevada will both make it regardless of how they do. So we know what competition lies ahead. But with that in mind, we've beaten both those teams in our court. So now we got to see if we match up with them, including UNLV, that we can do it on a neutral court.
Although it's not neutral, right? That's got to be a little frustrating.
Yeah, that was a big thing for Coach Fisher all these years. He always wanted that tournament moved out of the Thomas and Mack, whether it's the MGM or somewhere else, because he always felt it was a home court advantage. Now, Vegas hasn't won enough of these things to cause an uproar, but if Vegas were to all of a sudden win 2 or 3 Mountain West tournaments in a row, then everybody would be in an uproar. So we know it's a competitive advantage for them, but with that being said, we can't use it as an excuse. We have to come out. We have to play at our best.
And Dutch, being at your best, you'll need to get some good minutes from Nathan Mensa, the freshman who's been terrific this year. I know there was a question about if he would play on Saturday against Nevada. Turns out he did, but I think he only played 9 minutes. What did you see from him? Was it maybe not worth running him out there, and what do you expect from him on Thursday?
Nathan had been in back pain all week. He did not practice the 2 days before the game. He did not do anything in the shoot-around. We've had him checked out. We've done all the testing. He has nothing structurally, but he must be in some kind of spasming or something along those lines. I'm not a trainer. I don't know the exact terminology. But he warmed up and said, I want to try, Coach, but I have to start when it's loose. So he ran himself out there. Obviously, I appreciate that from him, willing to try to sacrifice for the good of the team, but he was unable to really go at a level we're used to seeing. So he hasn't practiced since. We're going to hold him out again today and see if the rest will allow him to be at 100% come Thursday in Vegas.
So Mensa is going to be a game-time decision.
I think he'll play, but I would say, probably a game-time decision.
All right, Coach, 77-94 at the end of January at home against the Rebels, and then you narrowly escaped there at the end of February, 60-59 in Vegas. Other than the home court advantages, the difference between the two games and the way your team played and the way their team played?
We were so good offensively. I think Jalen, the first game, had a career-high 30 points. So that's a tough thing to duplicate. They concentrated him on the second game, and he still had a solid game against them. Maybe 16-18, I'm thinking. And so we know they're going to key on Jalen again. We have to continue to put him in positions and get him his swagger back where he's feeling good about himself. And then we have to continue to make adjustments. You can't say just because we beat him twice, we'll naturally beat him a third time. This is the scenario we were in last year at the tournament. Fresno had beat us twice, and we were in the 4-5 game. We were the 5 seed, and we finally beat Fresno. So we have to make sure that we're willing to change things up, even though we've won, to make adjustments, to treat every game differently, and take some of the good, but not be afraid to make changes in order to win the third game.
The defending Mountain West Conference Tournament champion Aztecs, Thursday, 2:30 against UNLV. Coach, we want to wish you the best of luck, and as always, we thank you for your time today.